Alrighty, guys, let's talk about Geeko Foundation and what is it and why is it and what does it have to do with SUSE and openSUSE. So, right here we are at geekos.org. Why the S? I don't know. Geekos, plural, maybe? So, Geeko Foundation, that's where we're at right now. We support the advancement of emerging open source initiatives, contributions, technology. Come join us. The Geeko Foundation, you can see a lot of openSUSE branding here. The Geeko Foundation exists to advocate open technical standards in the private, corporate, and public sectors, provide computer systems and expertise to communities in need, promote the use of open source software and hardware, including the Linux operating system and other tools that enhance its function, stage events in the UK and other countries for educational purposes, and promote and advance the use of open source software. Create an environment to support advancements in open source innovations, allowing for collaborative projects and transparent open source solutions. Promote the reuse and repair of computer hardware, reducing e-waste and extending hardware life cycles. All that sounds great, but what does that have to do with openSUSE? So in order to answer that question, let's look at this email. This was on a public email thread. I'm not volunteering information that isn't already public. This is already public from Patrick Fitzgerald. To the project list openSUSE, board openSUSE. Greetings all, I want to reintroduce the Geeko Foundation. This was not long ago. This was yesterday, as a matter of fact, yesterday morning. I want to reintroduce the Geeko Foundation, its origins and reason to exist, and progress so far. I suspect that most of you are already familiar with this information. Can I make that bigger? I can. There you go. Oh, that's so much better. All right, where was I? I suspect that most of you are already familiar with this information, but it's time for a bit of a refresher. TLDR, support the Geeko Foundation. Yes, indeed, do. I plan on it. The concept of a foundation-like structure has been long debated within the community. This is because openSUSE, in quotes, is essentially nothing but a name. It has no legal standing apart from being a SUSE trademark. And that's the key. That's the key to this whole mess. It is a branding trademark owned by SUSE, not the community. This means, ooh, that's fast. This means there is no place to make donations to because there is no bank account. Again, it's SUSE. It's for-profit. SUSE is the owner, is the parent company. You make contributions to openSUSE, SUSE gets it. People don't like to make donations to a for-profit company, and it's completely understandable. Therefore, the community is 100% reliant on SUSE for its survival. Further, no individual or company is likely to make a donation to a public or private company. Private? Public? Public. I don't know if that's worded right. SUSE is a private company. Open source is public? Maybe I'm misreading that. I don't know. Of course, with a foundation, the following becomes true. Any person or organization can donate. Depending on the location of the donor, there may be corporate or individual benefit, tax benefit. The foundation can dispense funds in a timely and efficient manner, achieve its aims without seeking permission of a corporate sponsor. Don't have to ask permission from SUSE to borrow some of our donated money, right? So it's definitely a mess. See, if you look deep into the money part of it, the relationship between openSUSE and SUSE is pretty shady. Therefore, Geeko Foundation. Obviously, there are many other benefits. You get the idea. How did this come to pass? At the openSUSE conference in 2022, I volunteered to produce a report for the board to show potential solutions for establishing a foundation of some sort. For those of you who are unaware, openSUSE's funding had been slashed by SUSE's management. And that not just donations to SUSE for openSUSE, but SUSE actually gives SUSE money to openSUSE. So that's what they mean here. At the time, led by Melissa Donato. At the time, there appeared to be very little interest or understanding the role of the community and its role in the development of SUSE's own product. My understanding is Tumbleweed is parent is upstream to SUSE Linux Enterprise. Definitely a need there. Think of it more along the lines if when the Geeko Foundation gets going and we release ourselves from that SUSE string, and they release themselves from that SUSE string. Okay, I've been using openSUSE Tumbleweed for 2 years. I feel like I'm part of them. Okay, I love Tumbleweed. Anyway, when they release the strings from, they cut the ties to SUSE. It becomes more similar to Fedora and Red Hat. Fedora is upstream to Red Hat. We're all just basically beta testers for enterprise Linux, and I'm good with that. It was my understanding that the project was operating with 30% of the budget allocated in previous years, and as a result, SUSE ceased to sponsor many open source events, even one that SUSE themselves had originally started. That's sad. So basically, at the time, there was a sense of desperation in the air. Yeah, I've been worried. Yeah. Some of the questions asked: what is the future of the openSUSE community and name and logo if, SUSE goes bankrupt? I doubt it, but anything's possible. SUSE decided to abandon the brand. I think that is more likely than SUSE going bankrupt. And that is a possibility, honestly. There's a lot of Red Hat, man. Red Hat's flipped off the community more than once. SUSE is purchased by another company who may or may not keep the brand alive. Yep. SUSE has been bought and sold a time or two, yes. One of those being Novell. I don't know if they still own it or not. I'm not sure. Or SUSE just loses interest and defunds the project entirely. Again, possible. Any of these reasons should make a community member or user, me, concerned, and it does. After producing the initial report attached, and we'll look at that shortly, I decided that the risk was worth taking, so I created the Geeko Foundation as a UK-based not-for-profit organization. We swiftly established bank accounts and an accounting system. My own company, iLayer, donated. Dude, thank you. That's awesome. Donated server time and covered for professional fees. Man, that is awesome. Dude, that's stepping up. Legal, insurance, accounting fees for the first 12 months. Some Geeko quick facts. We have donations from SUSE, ARM, and Google, and hundreds of individuals. For the last 18 months or so, we've been managing the TSP, Travel Support Fund. Payments have been made much faster as a direct result, sometimes as fast as the next day. I'm looking into making these payments automatic, further speeding this process. Currently, no salaries are paid to the trustees, and there are no employees yet. We aim to spend 90% of our income in charitable activities. That is awesome. That seems a little high. I mean, great. It is awesome, but you gotta. That seems a little high. You should put. Now, I don't have a say, but I think there should be more money going into creating the product that is bringing you contributions, in my opinion. At FOSDEM this year, we raised more than 1,200 euros, I think that is, from donations via our card machine, thanks to everyone at the stand. That is awesome. Foundation is shortly to become a full UK charity. There are no shareholders or owners. Anyone can apply to be a trustee. Help is needed. And I think part of this communication is we need help. Please help. Understandable. But what is a not-for-profit? And there is a link here. Wikipedia.org, wiki not-profit organization. It basically just means you can't profit, but a business has to profit. So, stakeholder, I don't know. How easy is that to get? Okay, give me a nutshell here. A nonprofit organization, also known as non-business entity, nonprofit institution, or simply nonprofit, is a non-governmental, private, yeah, I guess so, legal entity organized and operated for a collective public or social benefit, as opposed to an entity that operates as a business aiming to generate profit for its owners. Okay, I get you. But why not just call it the openSUSE Foundation? We touched on this earlier, if you remember. Apart from potential conflict with SUSE over trademarks, remember they own openSUSE name and branding. Yeah. It would raise legal questions as to if it was simply a tax avoidance mechanism by SUSE. Yep, absolutely true. Sounds like some shady politics currently and often done in the United States, where I reside. A lot of that. Similarly, if it was to be controlled by SUSE, for example, all trustees were SUSE employees, this would also raise benefits both in the eyes of the tax collectors and donors. Absolutely. Absolutely. But why is it based in UK and not in Germany? Great question. With some good answers. Setup costs are lower. That right there's a good answer. And no upfront capital is required. A and B of that answer is completely understandable. British law is widely understood. That is true. Probably more so than German law. It's kind of global. The community is global. Well, there you go. As a SUSE, are we going to set up in every country? Now, in the states, in the United States, every single state has their own license plate service. I'm a truck driver, and trucking companies that are owned in one state can legally tag their trucks, all of their trucks, in another state that they're not actually in, as long as they have a satellite something relationship with that state. And they just pick a cheaper state to get tags for their truck, for all of their trucks, that's a lot of money all up front. They just pick the cheapest state, they get a bunch of tags, license plate tags, and it's the same thing, just on a global scale. The community is global, as I think I just read that. Historically, there had not been a lot of discussions featuring various European states, but no action was taken. German language would be a must, as trustees have a level of legal responsibility. This would automatically limit the type of trustees that could be attracted to be engaged. There's the number of people around the world that speak English versus speak German is amazing. And the number of people that speak a little bit of English besides their native language speaks more English than I speak any other language. And some of them speak better English than I do, honestly. No joke. Situation right now. At the openSUSE conference last year, SUSE suggested that the project change its name. I was listening in on that live, and I was taken aback, honestly. The main reason provided was that represented a risk to the SUSE trademark. For the reasons outlined above, the Geeko Foundation broadly supported this initiative, so long as there is a corresponding budget, marketing infrastructure, and personnel allocated by SUSE to support this move. So they are suggesting we do it. They're leaving it to us to do it. I did it again. They're suggesting that openSUSE does it, but you know what? I'm just going to run with it. Why not? They're suggesting we do it, and the restriction was that we got help from them to do it. We'll do it all, but we need your help. That's basically what that is. If you used the TSP in the last 2 years or been to an openSUSE conference, FOSDEM, FOSCOM, openSUSE Asia SUSECon, it's probably SUSECon, all those others that I can't recall right now, you've already been a part of what we do and you don't even realize it. As an entity, the Geeko Foundation have proven that there is appetite for donations. Absolutely. A lot of people are giving. We are currently finalizing accounts for the last financial years, which shows a large increase up to 3x in donations based on the previous year. we'd love to continue to help, which is actually, we'd love to continue to help, which is actually was, oh, I get it. We'd love to continue to help, which is actually was my primary reason to create the foundation in the first place. Personally, I believe that the open communities build better products and engage more users. I've known that from the beginning of my career. Mindshare is important. However, the foundation has yet to receive any formal approach from SUSE related to a path forward. However, we are looking forward to solidifying our relationship in an upcoming meeting, as we have already done most of the legwork required. But who am I? If you don't already know, in 2019 I was presenting at the openSUSE conference in Nuremberg. At about 5 minutes in, I suffered a cardiac arrest. Thanks to Swift Action's community members present, I'm amongst the 6% of survivors of this kind of incident. Dude, take the cake. I figured that setting up the Geeko Foundation was the best way to pay it forward, and so that's what I did. I've had 40 years in technology, and my company iLayer is currently hosting cloud solutions for major financial organizations in the UK and Switzerland. iLayer has been a SUSE partner for about 15 years. How can you help? If you're a donor, thank you. If you have any free time, we have programming, marketing, and accounting, and legal needs. Do I count as marketing? I think. If you have resources available, bandwidth, hosting, rack space, hardware, get in touch. If you have made it this far, thank you for your attention. Have a lot of fun. Notes. Number 1. You can't use private bank account for tax reasons, amongst others. Therefore, a form of legal entity is required. Therefore, Geeko Foundation. Number 2, not only are individuals and corporates unwilling to donate to a for-profit entity, why would they? Their accounting departments are unable to match payments product codes, and any funds donated are unlikely to be allocated to ... anyone. I know that there have been calls in the past for greater transparency over and above the publication of rather dry accounts data that is publicly available here. If anyone wants to help with automating that process, feel free to get in touch. Python REST skills would be great. So there's that email. And he said attachment attached. So let's look at the attachment. That is this. I'm not going to show you slide 1 and 2. I don't think it's necessary. Let's talk about me. One way to look at the issues, the problem simplified, what is needed, what has been done, brought to you by, we may not do all of these. This is the gentleman that I just read from, refugee, 8 years in the film industry, 40 years in technology, presenter at several SUSE and openSUSE events, elected to the board last year. Let's go on. SUSE has no bank account. Historically, the SUSE's support for openSUSE has been uneven. There's no guarantee that donated services or funds meant for openSUSE would be used for openSUSE. Have to create a funding target and isolate donated funds, services, or infrastructure. What is needed, a stable, fully independent entity with charitable status, which will attract donations from SUSE. SUSE pays our foundation. Nice. Attract donations from large corporations who are already known to SUSE, openSUSE, but have no place to donate. Attract donations from individuals and small businesses who are not known to SUSE, openSUSE, and also have no place to donate. Nominate and invite projects for sponsorship from the donated funds. Fund events and travel without having seek SUSE approval. Provide a neutral, safe space for contributors to continue to work together. Reach out to a wider audience. Become more inclusive with our projects. This is a nice little umbrella. So you have basically the Geeko Foundation is the umbrella, and underneath it, events, projects, travel support, branded goods. Keep on going. It has now been done. The Geeko Foundation. The objectives: promote the use of open source software and hardware, stage events in the UK, advocate open technical standards, create an environment to support advancements in open source initiatives, promote the reuse of computer hardware, provide computer systems expertise and community in need. So how can I help? Basically, let's donate, meet the trustees, I remember this gentleman, Douglas DeMaio. I remember him speaking at one of the openSUSEs I watched, the conferences that I watched. I remember him speaking as well, I think. Brought to you by openSUSE, Google, ARM, and iLayer. Those are the sponsors right now for the Geeko Foundation as of this, plus a lot of small donations. So the future awaits. Alrighty. So what else can we learn? How did we get here? Let's look at some history. How did openSUSE spawn from SUSE? Whose idea was it and why? So let's visit just a little bit of the past. SUSE Linux, and I'm in Wikipedia here. Let's blow this up. So in the past, SUSE Linux Company has focused releasing SUSE Linux Personal and SUSE Linux Professional box sets that were available for sale. I'm going to synopsis some of this. Let's see. SUSE Linux strategy was to create a technically superior Linux distribution with a large number of employed engineers that would make users willing to pay for their distribution in retail stores. SUSE Linux is, SUSE Linux is of German origin, its name being an acronym of Software und Systementwicklung. I tried. So if you're a German speaker and I just totally destroyed that, you're fair. Yeah, it's fair to let me know. Software systems development. Okay. I didn't know what it meant, but I think I got close to the pronunciation. Anyway. And it was mainly developed in Europe. The first version appeared in early 1994, making SUSE one of the oldest existing commercial distributions. It is also known for FreeAS configuration tool, and boy is it ever. That's for the good and the bad. Yeah. All right. openSUSE. Since the acquisition by Novell in 2003, I was in Linux back then, and I remember that. That was a big hubbub. Okay, since the acquisition by Novell in 2003, with the advent of openSUSE, this has been reversed, starting with version 9.2. An unsupported 1 DVD ISO image of SUSE Professional was made available for download. The FTP server continues to operate and has the advantage of streamlined installs, allowing the user to download only the packages the user feels they need. The ISO has the advantage of an easily installed package. I don't think I need to read all this. The initial stable release of the openSUSE project, SUSE Linux 10.0. Okay. In addition, the Novell discontinued the personal version, renaming the professional version to simply SUSE Linux, and repricing SUSE Linux to about the same as the old personal version. In 2006, with version 10.2, the SUSE Linux distribution officially renamed to openSUSE, as it is pronounced similarly to open source. Until version 13, stable fixed releases with separate maintenance streams from SLE were the project's main offering. Since late 2015, openSUSE has been split into two main offerings, Leap and the more conservative fixed release Leap distribution based on SLE, and Tumbleweed, the rolling release distribution focused on integrating the latest stable packages from upstream projects. What we all are familiar with and love today is Tumbleweed and Leap. I don't know is any of this. April 2011, AttachMate completed its acquisition of Novell. AttachMate split Novell into two autonomous business units, Novell and SUSE. AttachMate made no changes to the relationship between SUSE, formerly Novell, and the openSUSE project. After the 2014 merger of the AttachMate group with Micro Focus, SUSE reaffirmed its commitment to openSUSE. So that's a little bit of the history, sort of. I was hoping for a little bit more than that, but that's fine. Yeah, I need to get back to 100%. There we are. All right. So, in closing, now this is all of my own words. In closing, the Geeko Foundation is absolutely necessary, and it's going to be just another, hopefully not a bump in the road. It's going to be just another quiet thing that happens, and nobody that's not into this even knows it. So, but it's needed because the SUSE holds the money, and there was no place to really donate and expect that donation to go where you wanted it to go. Now there is. The Geeko Foundation is the donation parent for openSUSE. And to go beyond that, the rebranding, there is rebranding happening. And it's basically my understanding, and I could be wrong, but my understanding at this point is we're just going to drop the openSUSE name. That's it. The openSUSE Tumbleweed will just become Tumbleweed. Leap, openSUSE Leap will just become Leap, which a lot of people say that anyway. I just run Leap or Tumbleweed. The openSUSE part will officially go away. And it makes sense too, because we don't say canonical Ubuntu. We just say Ubuntu. So it's that same kind of relationship. But anyway, I hope this was interesting, somewhat entertaining, halfway educational, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you made it all the way through, kudos. And if you made it all the way through and you haven't subscribed to me, you really should. I don't know why, but that's what they say. Anyway, that's all for this video. As always, thanks for watching.